boy sitting over here talking about he want to leave a seed in the world because he don't understand the possibilities for his life, and you all arguing back and forth with one another instead of encouraging and empowering these young people. I'm furious. Quiet.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so sick of your little nonsense mouth running.
Yes, Your Honor.
You a tall glass of nothing. Sitting up here clowning in this courtroom today, clapping and smiling, acting like a buffoon. I don't think I've ever said this in this courtroom before, Jerome, but I pray he's not this child's father.
This case is crazy because Mr. Howard here might have fathered 2 kids with 2 different women around the same time. But Mr. Howard insists that is fake news, and you might see why as soon as he starts talking. But first, let us hear from Ms. Haysbert, the woman who claims he fathered her child. Here we go.
Okay, Ms. Haber, please tell me how your relationship began.
I met this clown at the Washington Redskins Stadium when we used to work together.
1 second. Let's use respectful language.
We were co-workers, and then after that we became friends. Like, we
Okay.
used to chill with each other outside of work. It was to the point, like, when something was wrong, he came to me. After that, you know, we started having sex and we got drunk. And so, yeah, we got drunk and had sex, and that's how I conceived my son.
Wow, that is some intro. So Ms. Haysbert went from just being platonic friends with Mr. Howard to being leg-on-shoulders friends with him. And Mr. Howard has some objections with that version of events. But let us finish with Ms. Haysbert.
He acted like he won the lottery. He was so excited. Oh, Junior. Oh, I can't wait for you to have my son. He was so excited.
Where the money at? Where's the money at if I won the lottery?
As soon as my 5th or 6th month of pregnancy, he wanted to change up the table. He wasn't there. He didn't even come to the doctor's appointments.
At about 6 months.
She's alive.
Yes, and that's when the girlfriend started calling my phone, telling me, oh, they're still together, that he never broke up with her, that he lied, basically, that she lived with him, that they lived together.
Around the same time? That is nasty. So he would go to work, be a shoulder for Ms. Haybert to rest her legs on, and then come back to his woman and do the same thing while lying to both of them? I know Mr. Howard does not sound like it, but this dude is a certified playa. Let us see what he has to say.
Did you get 2 girls pregnant at the same time?
Yes, I did, Your Honor, but I didn't mean to. That's the only thing I can really say. But it happened. But at the same time, she did call me a clown. I won't respect your court, but she looking like one. Like, for real.
But she met. You found out she was pregnant?
Yes.
When? How? She told you? She called you?
Yeah, she said, I'm pregnant. I said,
No.
oh, you is? I said, damn. Dude, I said, I'm a man up. I'm a man about mine. I'm gonna take care of it.
Wait, if Mr. Howard accepts the pregnancy and says he planned to be there for the kid, why are we here in the first place? What happened to make him change his mind? Let's find out.
She was bouncing around.
I wasn't bouncing, I was only with you, that's you. You were sleeping with me and Kiana at the same time. You had to lie and say that you weren't with her in order for you to even talk to me. Yes, you lied.
Why did I have to
You
lie?
told me that you weren't with her anymore. But yet she was calling your phone, blowing up your phone. You say, I'm only gonna be there for the baby. That's why I'm talking to her for the baby. You told me that your daughter wasn't yours because she was sleeping around on you. You told me you didn't even know if the daughter was yours, but now you're claiming her.
Wow, there is a lot of bad blood here. It is almost like Ms. Haysbert cannot believe that she was played by Mr. Howard. And to be honest, what can you say? The dude sounds and looks like a smooth operator. Anyway, she has a lot to say. Let's take a listen.
Like he said that he never told me he loved me, want a relationship. Here you go right here, Yana. He told me he loved me, he don't want to
Jerome,
lose
will
me.
you hand me that?
So, you know.
what is that you have in your hand?
How he was telling me how I'm his life.
Are these the kind of text messages you send to women that are just your friend? Love you, babe. Kiss my son for me.
Kiss my son for me.
You're acknowledging him. How you going to deny him then acknowledge him?
What?
Thank you very much.
Okay, since we got so much about my son, since you trying to make it seem like...
What is happening here? First of all, Mr. Howard looks and sounds like he is playing for more than one team, if you get my drift. That is what makes this case so absurd. And what is this business about a dead baby? Let's see.
She want to show stuff about text messages, which that's probably been a brick ago, but somebody sent me a text message, which I knew it was her. She tried to make it seem like it was somebody else, but it wasn't, because she plays a lot of games.
Tell you that my
and she
son is
said that my
dead, and he's
son
just
was
fine.
dead.
These text messages do indicate that somebody was texting about a baby passing away.
Your Honor, that don't have anything to do with that.
lied.
No, I don't know
I'm
anything
asking
about
you,
that.
what do you know about
Answer the
it?
I don't know anything about that. Kiana
She
called
breathing
me
hard.
the next day.
Wait, what? That is such a lame excuse. If your child's father asks whether his son is dead or not, the least you can do is say the kid isn't dead. It doesn't matter if the man is there for the child or not. In fact, that sort of response is the response you would expect from someone playing very silly games. Let us hear from the other woman.
This girl is a
a liar because if she didn't have respect for me, she would have respect. It was a week, so I really don't call that as a broke up. For one, she knew we was in a relationship. She knew that. For them to get drunk, she wouldn't have respect for herself to sleep with somebody else's man.
And Mr. Howard, during that time, you were with Ms. Lynch, but you were also with Ms. Haber. So Ms. Haber was your best friend.
Best friend side chick.
I'm never nobody's side chick, sweetheart.
Phew, this is so chaotic. What is insane is that Ms. Lynch, the second baby mama, basically has no anger for her boyfriend, Mr. Howard, who was the one who got 2 women pregnant at the same time. She only wants to fight with Ms. Haysbert, and now 3 of them want to bring down the roof of the court with all their screaming.
Your son, I'm your woman, that's my son too. I'm not gonna do anything to hurt
Not
nobody's
ever.
child.
Not
That's just
ever.
me. I'm a woman. I'm gonna be a woman about math. I'm strong, I got faith. That's just how I am. So it was times when he came to the hospital, we got him clothes because she didn't have no clothes for
He
him.
had clothes.
He
You
didn't
got
have
him
no
hand
clothes
me
for him.
down. Oh, it's my phone. Asking me, are you and Ricardo still messing around? She told me I check his voicemail and text messages. You do too much, sweetheart. You
All
doing
she
too
do
much.
is harass me all day,
my
every
break that
day.
you Paul?
She texts me.
Where my break that you Paul?
That is a lot. The funny thing is that these 2 are fighting over a man that may very well have another man at home with the way he's talking. Anyway, let's see what the DNA test results have to say about this crazy case.
Mr. Howard, you are his father.
To death do us part, boo.
All right, I'ma
so
be a
it is
man.
what it is.
I'ma be a
Don't
man.
call my phone. Don't
I'ma
have
be
that
a man.
little wench over
I'ma
there
be a
call my
man.
phone
I'ma
or
be
text
a
my
man.
phone. You will never see him.
I'ma be a
Never.
man.
Ms. Haysbert, throughout this entire case, I have watched you wear the hurt on your sleeve. All this pouncing around and bouncing that hair and acting crazy.
Mr. King is sure he is the father of Ms. Holmes' 10-year-old child, but Ms. Holmes denies it. Well, for now. You see, Ms. Holmes has been playing 2 sides and hoping she comes out on top. Let us learn more.
Ms. Holmes, you admit you led Mr. King to believing he was your son's father, but you are here to prove you made a mistake.
Yes, Your Honor.
You know who Kevon's dad is, and it isn't Mr. King. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Mr. King, you stated that you're tired of being played.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain to the court, please.
Ms. Holmes sounds like the sort of woman you'd think does not exist. Can a woman, especially one with such a young child, be so evil? Can she really dedicate her life to using another person? Can she? Well, it appears that she can.
Are you playing both sides of the fence, Ms. Holmes?
Yes. That was.
Well, let's
like,
go ahead and be honest then.
I just want Kevon to have what he needs. And when I'm having a hard time and I need something, I know King's gonna give it to me. And it's like when we arguing, I feel some type of way because it's like he throws things in my face like, oh, you know you were sleeping with me and him at the same time, and you know you don't even know if this is my son. So yeah, I text him when I need something because why would I try to build a relationship if you're gonna keep throwing that in my face?
So you're the mother?
Well, at least she's honest. There are many women who do this same thing but never admit it in court. All they do is break down in tears and cry for pity. But Ms. Holmes is just admitting what she is doing. She has not yet accepted that any of this is her fault. Let us see why.
Once upon a time, me and King, we was high school sweetheart. You know, we started sneaking around on the low. Like we would skip school, we'd text each other during class and be like, let's meet at the staircase, you know.
Sexual things at the staircase in high school?
Yes.
No, Your Honor, that's not true. See, can I tell you what happened?
Nope, I was never in class.
And you see how that landed you straight here, right?
Yeah, I see that.
If they were having so much fun, what happened? If you are having such a great time with someone, you usually just stick with them. So why are they in court today? What happened along the way? Let's see.
I'm like, it's been a minute since I seen you. Let me come to Texas and, you know, let's meet up. He was like, sure. So, you know, I go to Texas, we get in the hotel, you know, we having sex like 4 or 5 times a day.
Wait a minute, what happened to let's just meet and go to lunch or go to the movies? I mean, you say you're gonna go to Texas and you just immediately get a hotel room and start having sex?
It's cause when we was in high school, we couldn't do what we wanted. Like, we wanted to go that far, but we never got to it. And it's like when I saw him.
Yeah, this just nasty. So no dates, no movies, no nothing. Just straight to bed to get it up and down 4 to 5 times a day. That is crazy. And it is probably one of the reasons why they are here in the first place.
Not once go out. Like she said, like you said, we went straight to the hotel room and she wanted to get it on. I was like, okay, I was in the mood for it anyway. Cause the hormones are raising.
The hormones were what?
Raising.
They were raising.
Yes, ma'am.
Not raging.
Yeah, that is another reason why you should have stayed in school, Mr. King. Maybe if you did, you'd know the hormones were raging is the correct term. Anyway, let us get back to the question of this baby. What else do we know?
After you and your boyfriend met up, did you start having sex with him after you had just had plenty of sex with Mr. King?
It was like immediately, like the next day.
You did, Miss Holmes?
Yeah, I did that.
But had 3 days worth of sex with Mr. King. Was that protected or unprotected?
That was definitely unprotected.
Then get back with your boyfriend. You also had unprotected sex with the boyfriend.
Yes.
1 day later.
Yes.
And how soon after that did you find out you were pregnant?
Wow, Ms. Holmes is really a master manipulator. She knew that this kid could belong to Mr. King, yet she told her boyfriend that the kid was his. So if that is how the story started, how did we even get here? How did Mr. King get involved again? Let's find out.
Called me out of nowhere, out of the blue. And she called me, hey, you got a baby on the way. I'm like, what do you mean? We haven't talked, and clearly you got to be back with your boyfriend. So how am I the father?
You thought she was lying.
Yes, Your Honor.
This is interesting. So when you initially call him, Miss Holmes, what do you say?
I said there's no way I'm lying because my conception date is the 28th. And that's exactly when me and you was most.
Why are you so convinced that the other guy is the biological father when you admit that you had sex with both men unprotected?
Oh, yeah, she meant exactly what she said. She was a runner, and she was a track star. That means she did not allow Mr. King to finish, so she thinks that method would stop both of them from having a baby. But somehow she was not a track star with her actual boyfriend, which is crazy considering that Mr. King is now the present father. So what happened to the other guy?
The other guy, he had me thinking that we would be a family and...
Oh, the other guy did?
Yeah.
So was the other guy believing that he was the father at the time you gave birth?
No, actually, he got him a new girlfriend. So I try to stay in contact because, like I said, I thought he was the father. And when Kevon was born, I didn't tell King because, I mean, I already had bounced back between two guys. And, like, at the time, I didn't want to talk to King because every time I talked to him, I only used him.
Whew, that was a lot. Ms. Holmes thought she was going to build a life with her boyfriend, but now he is the deadbeat, and the man she left the deadbeat for is the one actually stepping up for the kid. Well, there is only one way to find out the truth, and that is through the DNA test results. So what does the result say? Let's see.
Mr. King, you are not the father. I know that wasn't the answer you wanted, Mr. King. I'm sorry. And Miss Holmes, I know that was hard for you to hear. I can see the tears in your eyes, Mr. King.
Mr. Boykin claims that Miss Gulley was nothing more than a spring fling, and now argues that he would like nothing more than for her to kick rocks. Ms. Gulley says that is impossible because he is the father of her child. Here is how that insane case begins.
Your Honor, I'm here to prove and to tell the court and to tell her that I am not the father. I am not Messiah's father. We only had sex a couple times. It was like a summer breeze going through the wind. I actually did not know.
Yes, I am certain my child's father, he's the only man that I've been with during the time that I got pregnant. There's no other guy.
And why do you think he's denying?
I mean, like, I have no idea. He knew.
Okay. It looks like Mr. Boykin's objection rests on the assumption that he only slept with her a few times, but that does not matter at all. It only takes one time to get pregnant. How did they even meet? Let us find out.
We were just friends at the time. I mean, chilling, hooking up, basically having sex.
So this was a sexual relationship?
Yes.
It wasn't a committed relationship, Mr. Boykin?
No, Your Honor.
How'd you meet?
I met her at the store.
Okay.
I met her at the store, you know. Talked to her a couple times. We ended up having sex a couple times. It was just a sex
We
thing.
exchanged numbers. That was,
Oh, you just meet at the store, exchange numbers, then you just had sex?
That was it.
yes.
What does he mean by how is that? If you sleep with someone in August and they give birth around April, then that was the date of conception. This is so obvious to anyone, but somehow this is extremely confusing to Mr. Boykin. Let's see what his reply to that is.
I am not the father.
He said right off that he wasn't the father, but I told him
Your
that
Honor.
he was the only man that I was with at the time that I conceived.
Do you remember getting that call, Mr. Boykin?
Yes, when she was calling me, asking me for money.
So hold on.
Like it was a relationship.
I never
It
called
was never
that
a
day and
relationship,
asked you
Your
for
Honor.
money.
Do you remember getting the call?
Oh, really? Mr. Boykin now claims that he only knew of the pregnancy after the baby had been born, but if he is truly the father, how come Ms. Gulley never got in touch throughout the pregnancy? That does not make a drop of sense, right? Well, it gets worse.
She called me after the day she had the baby in the
No,
hospital.
I called him after I had my baby, after I cut him off, months before I had my baby, because all he did was call me, wanted to have sex. That was it. And I was sick and went up for it.
You just said, I don't want to deal with this?
Yes.
Because he wasn't
Yes.
trying to have a relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
Go to dinner, or go to the movies, or anything like that.
Ask me, I'm feeling okay. No.
And that is it. The case is over. Darius 2 told Darius 1 that Darius Jr. wasn't the baby of Darius. And that's it. If only other men had an internal DNA test mechanism like Mr. Boykin here. What is the point of having a DNA test when Darius can just decide which baby is his through a simple conversation? Anyway, it gets better.
Did you finally, after you talked to yourself and you went back and forth, did you finally go up there?
Your Honor, yeah, after I got myself together, I went up there. I hold the baby, I was looking at it, and I looked at her, looking at the baby, looked at her, and I said, no, this ain't my baby.
He
That's
was
how I
happy.
felt.
He stared at him for a minute, then he kissed him. He held him for a minute, maybe like 10 minutes, then he put him back down. And he told me he'll be keeping in touch, and he left.
Phew. Imagine being Ms. Gulley here and giving birth. Then the supposed baby father comes into the waiting room, kisses the baby on the head, and tells you he will keep in touch, and then does not keep in touch. That would drive you almost mad. Anyway, Mr. Boykin still planned to do the DNA test, and he came up with this ingenious plan to get it done.
At the DNA test, I said, we're gonna go half. It costs like $135, I think $140 to send back to the lab to get the results.
And I didn't have half.
I said, I was willing to go half if she go half. She didn't go half, you know what she did?
It
Your
didn't
Honor?
make sense
She
to
took
me.
the test back. She took the test back on her own without me telling her.
Wait, she took the test back and did what?
That is crazy. Why is everyone clapping? Instead of solving this DNA question once and for all, she took the test bag and bought diapers and wipes with it? Can she not see how this would make Mr. Boykin distrust her even more? And hold on, it gets better.
My point is, that was the moment where you had to have that conversation with yourself and say, well, Darius, if she don't have the money, you might not be able to get this test. Well, maybe you should go on and pay it. Well, maybe I should. You should have went back to talking to yourself and said, you know what, if I'm gonna get the answer to this question that I have, I may have to pay for it. Now I'm concerned about the fact that you are certain you are not this child's father.
I'm certain. She told me it's a possibility.
Wait, hold on. Ms. Gulley has testified from the very beginning of this proceeding that there is no other possibility. And now she is telling us that there might be some possibility that we don't know about? Really? Okay, but it gets better. Who is this other man?
He's not the father. Darius is the father. I don't believe the other guy's the father.
Okay, believe is something completely different.
I know Darius is the father.
So who is this other guy?
A long-term friend.
And you were having sex with him unprotected as well?
Yes.
How often were you with that man?
Maybe a few times before I got pregnant.
That is a recipe for pregnancy.
Well, that ought to solve it for us. If this testimony is correct, then Mr. Boykin has to be the father and he has to step up. But if it isn't, well, there's really nothing else to say. It is time for the DNA test results.
Mr. Boykin, you are not the father. You are not the father, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Gulley, I could tell that in your mind you had done the calculation and you truly thought Mr. Boykin was your child's biological father.
Mr. Green and Mrs. Green have a very interesting marriage. It is so interesting that it is difficult to know if it is even a marriage at all. Today, Mr. Green is in court to prove once and for all that he isn't the father of Mrs. Green's toddler. Here is how that insane story starts.
I mean, she used to leave me in the house like for numerous amounts of time. Like she'd tell me she going to the store for like an hour. She'd be gone for like 2 or 3 hours, then get back. I asked her where she been. Like she just been to her girlfriend's house. To her girlfriend's house can mean really her boyfriend's house or both. Like who knows, you know what I mean?
What if the store was just crowded?
I don't think Burger King at 10 o'clock at night is crowded until like 1 in the morning. So this is what made me like not want to be with her. You know what I mean? Like, and then when I did leave, the first time I did leave, I was going to see my other child.
Oh, okay. This does not seem like your standard run-of-the-mill marriage. Mr. Green apparently has another kid that he regularly leaves town to go and see without telling Mrs. Green about it. But that does not seem too troubling, right? Well, let us see.
Another time where like I flew back from Atlanta, like we said we was gonna get it together. You know what I'm saying? I flew back from Atlanta, came in the house,
where he
we're
left
chilling.
with another woman in Atlanta. Tell the whole story.
We was broken up. You already had another child by somebody else.
Okay.
So what you mean?
Yes, ma'am, I did. And he would have also had another child during that point. If
Allegedly.
still
She
another
said that was
child.
allegedly. That wasn't mine. That
there is
allegedly.
still
She was
another
like-
child
What
that is
kind of
possible.
Yeah, exactly. What kind of marriage is this? How can both husband and wife be having kids with different people while in the same marriage? Why can't they just divorce and get it over with? But it gets worse.
The condom wrapper on the floor. Like one time I came home or whatever from being like out or whatever, out of town or whatever I came, it was a
Out
condom
of
wrapper on
town.
the
How
floor.
long were you out of town for? Where were you at when you were out of town?
I was in Atlanta.
Right, in Atlanta, right.
Yeah, I was in Atlanta.
With who?
With my son moms. But we wasn't together.
So what are you talking about then?
But still, I found the condom wrapper on the floor. You smutty.
Okay, let's get this straight. Were you in Atlanta with your son's mother, or were you in Atlanta visiting your son? There's a difference.
You can't lie that she has a good point. At least she was smart enough to be using condoms while Mr. Green was out there sowing his wild oats anyway, he felt like. So what happens when Mr. Green comes back from Atlanta?
Back for like a month before I found out I was pregnant. I had not been with anyone during the time that this child was conceived besides
Oh, really?
him.
Somebody wasn't calling your phone?
So,
old boy wasn't keep calling your phone?
do you get pregnant through the phone?
You keep calling
Anyway,
your
like
phone?
I said, I hadn't been with anyone during the time that this child was conceived besides him.
You are certain.
Well, she has a point there. Women definitely don't count, as they could not have gotten her pregnant. And she is also correct that she could not have gotten pregnant over the phone, so Mr. Green better find some better evidence. And now he takes us to the barber shops.
My cousin, them telling me that she be on the barbershops all the time, messing with this one, messing with that one. You know what I'm saying? She
Now,
please.
all of this was happening during the time the baby was conceived?
Yeah, this is all around the same time, yes. This is all around the same time. We was partying, yeah, we was partying, having a good time.
Together.
Or whatever, together. Yeah, we was partying,
Right.
having a good time together. But at the end of the day, I was about you, and that was that. You was about everything else. I didn't want none of that. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? That was something
You
that
didn't
you
want it,
wanted.
that's
That's
why you
something you brought the
participated
milkshake
in
to the
it.
yard. I
Right,
did not.
okay.
You did.
All right, cool.
Wait, did he just say swinging stuff? So the activities they were involved in was swinging? Did we get that correctly? Were they having threesomes and stuff? Let us get clarity here, because this is chaotic.
Swinging
sinner.
stuff. No, to a grown man, to a sinner. I ain't say I ain't a sinner, nothing like
Yeah,
that.
okay.
But that was my first like sexual experience with two females and all that. She asked for all of that.
He was
that
there,
was her
though.
people's.
He
that
was
was her
there.
homegirl. Who does that?
He was
You know what
there.
woman brings another woman into the situation, into the equation?
So
That's
now
what she wanted to do.
you two,
And
as a married
I didn't even
couple,
like the female. Like I
during
didn't even
the
like the
time-
Oh, he didn't like that female,
Yeah.
but he liked
Well,
what
you don't
Hold
have to
on.
advocate
Let's
like
get
that.
some order. Hold on 1 second, because I'm trying to understand this mess. You come back home, and within 2 weeks to a month,
Exactly. So Mr. Green can scream about a woman being in that situation all he likes, but a woman won't get Mrs. Green pregnant, so that is basically irrelevant. But does Mr. Green care? Let us find out.
man are you accusing her of sleeping with during the time this child was conceived?
She told me she was sleeping with somebody else. She told me that. She told me she could be pregnant with him.
Okay.
She told me she could be pregnant by him. That's the whole situation.
All
She
right,
told
that's
me-
why you
Yeah,
have
that's-
your doubt.
Yes, she
So,
told me.
Mrs. Green,
Yes,
did
ma'am.
you tell your husband that while you were gone, I was sleeping with another man and that man could potentially be the father?
And that settles it. Mrs. Green may have cheated on her husband who cheated on her first, but she certainly would not pass off another man's kids as his own. That is her testimony. Now let us get to more juicy detail.
You might be pregnant. Like, before
Okay.
you told me you might be pregnant by somebody else. You told me that.
Really?
Before I even flew back there. Yes, you did.
Okay.
You told me that.
Okay, you just now saying that she told you that she may be pregnant before you ever flew back from Atlanta?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you said before that she told you 2 weeks after
Thank you.
you got back.
That's
So
when she told me she was pregnant. I mean, she told me this will happen.
So this is just so messy. At this point, I am kind of wishing the kid belongs to neither of them, because both of them are so messy. This cannot be a healthy environment to have a child. And it gets worse. Here is what Mr. Green's witness has to say. And his name is Mr. Concepcion? Really? That is a little bit too on the nose, but let us see what Mr. Concepcion has to say.
Holds bald. Everything is a go, basically.
sexually.
Everything is a go, yes.
Understood. Multiple partners.
Vegas in the bedroom.
What are you saying about Mrs. Green? What do you know?
I mean, once he told me that she was
Nothing.
pregnant and he was bouncing back and forth, you know, I got friends all over the place. I got cousins in Charlotte. They bouncing back and forth. My cousin got a house in Jacksonville. So I gave him a call and I'm just like, you know, just asking Joe GP to see, you know, if she ringing like that, like he claimed, you know what I mean? I want to see what's going on. So I called my man.
Yeah, she is turned up, but being turned up does not really mean anything here. People who are turned up can still have kids by their husbands, so the DNA test is really the only way to determine this case. Let us see what the test has to say.
Mr. Green, you are the father.
Now turn up to that. Turn up now.
That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to know. That's all I wanted to know. Why you all mad? Like, come on. You shouldn't be surprised.
I'm not surprised, are you?
You shouldn't be surprised. You shouldn't be surprised that I say something.
I don't even care. I don't even care. It's okay. I just need my paperwork.
Let's get some order.
Mr. Jordan says he was tricked by Ms. Heim into signing a birth certificate. He says if he knew then what he knows now, he would have never signed the birth certificate no matter what. Here is how that case begins.
You admit to being unfaithful to Mr. Jordan, but say he is Caitlin's father. You say Mr. Jordan abandoned you and your daughter, and you intend to prove paternity today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Jordan, you say Ms. Heim tricked you?
Yes.
Explain.
She tricked me into thinking that I was the father. She tricked me into thinking that Caitlin was my first daughter. She tricked me into thinking that the other guy had done got a paternity test on Caitlin.
Mr. Jordan is convinced that Ms. Heim is the devil herself. He says she is a conniving trickster who tricked him into doing everything and anything that comes out of her mouth is a lie. Let us see what Ms. Heim thinks about that.
Being deceitful, Ms. Heim.
No, ma'am. He's a great father, and I only had sex with one man when we were together, and I had sex with him one time, but we've been messing around for 7 years, and I never became pregnant. I met Chris, and all of a sudden I came pregnant, so I know Chris is the father.
So wait, you're saying that you were only having sex with one other man?
Well, how does she know that he is the father? Was it revealed to her in a dream? Did her baby tell her who the father is? How does she know? Or does she just want this court to take her words for it? Let's see.
This is where it goes wrong. Her and the family member gets into like an altercation or whatnot, like an argument. It wasn't even an altercation, an argument. And it was like they started like throwing dirt on each other, you know what I mean? So she said something about this family member's in front of this family member's boyfriend or whatever. It's very funny, but you know, you can say whatever. But as she was saying it, she pulls out the phone and she started showing me. I could pull it up. She
Chris
pulls
was a good
up
person.
pictures of the other guy and my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like having moments together or
Wait, what? Paternity court is no stranger to ignorant family members making crazy comments, but someone actually pulling up pictures of the other guy spending time with someone's daughter? That is no longer an ignorant comment. That is what we like to call a paternity doubt in this business, and it gets worse.
Yeah,
and this evidence you submitted is one of the pictures.
Yeah, and as you can see right here, Your Honor, like I don't like to say people look alike, but I'm like, yo, it's a lot of
You know who this man is, Miss Heim?
That's the guy I had sex one time with when I met Chris. That's the one that I was having sex since 2010.
So what was Caitlin doing on his lap?
My family members are messy, so when I drop her off on the weekends, I don't know what they do.
She does not know what they do? What? What does her family members have to do with having your baby on another man's lap? Would they really do that if they did not have Ms. Heim's blessing? Let's see.
Hey, get over there. Did you take her over there?
That time I did on that couch.
That time? So it's been more than one time?
No, that was the only one
time.
Your
Honor, I object.
What was your point of having the baby have this relationship with Santavius that he's calling her his baby?
I didn't tell him that. I told him I was pregnant.
Miss Heim, I'm gonna need you to tell me what the deal is.
That is about the lamest excuse I have ever heard. So you were sleeping with this man, got pregnant, told him you got pregnant, and then brought your kid over to him for little play dates. Now you expect him not to think he is the father of the child? Really? And it gets even worse.
So I feel like he assumed that it was his, but it's not his, it's Chris, baby.
Your Honor, I object, I'm sorry.
You know what, hold on, I'm about to object too, and I'm up here on this bench. Do you believe Caitlin is your daughter?
Yes, that's my baby. She told me when she got pregnant, she like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, what you telling me for? She like, well, it's not Chris, cause me and Chris been together a year and a half, and we ain't got pregnant. Soon you touch me, I get pregnant.
No, he's lying. When I came back in town in April.
This is crazy. Ms. Heim might not speak loudly, but she already sounds like one of the most manipulative women we have ever had on this show. And it gets worse because Mr. Knight has other things to say.
She told me that it was my baby. She said, I'm pregnant. I said, what you telling me for? She said, cause it's young. Telling me I love you when you get home. I let somebody else sign the birth certificate. I'm gonna fix it when you get home. Did it in the third. I'm like, okay, say no more.
She let somebody sign the birth certificate, but she's gonna fix it when you get home.
Yeah.
No.
Miss High, what kind of game you running?
I ain't running no game.
Good game. Fact. He ain't lying.
So how often do you see Caitlin?
I see Caitlin when he ain't got her, or the people who at the school ain't got her.
Pure insanity. We have seen women lie to one man about a kid being theirs or not being theirs. But it is rare to see one woman lie to two men that the same kid belongs to them. And Ms. Heim has never been confronted about it till today. Let's see what else she is hiding.
So why did you tell Mr. Knight he was the biological
I did not.
father?
I said I was pregnant.
Where's he getting all these stories about making the birth certificate right and all of this?
I don't know. I called him when I found I was pregnant and told him that I was pregnant.
Did you
So
tell him
after
you were
that-
going to make the birth certificate right?
I don't remember that, Your Honor.
But the conversation about the birth certificate would happen after Caitlin was born. So you're still having conversations with him after Caitlin's born.
Really? She told both of them the same thing? Well, both of them cannot be Caitlin's father. So Ms. Heim was definitely lying to one of them. I think it is time to find out who she was lying to.
Mr. Knight is the father of the child, Caitlin Jordan. It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Jordan. Mr. Jordan, you are Caitlin's biological father.
Mr. Jordan claims that he knew he was not the father of Ms. Valentin's kid when he found out that she had been cheating on him. Ms. Valentin, on the other hand, claims that Mr. Jordan is just denying her kid because she does not want to be with him. Let's see how that story begins.
Valentin, tell the court, why did you open today's case?
Because I know 100% sure that Michael is the father of my baby, Michael.
So, Mr. Jordan, you don't believe you are little Michael's biological father?
No, not at all. That's not my kid.
That's a lie. Because this whole pregnancy and after birth, you begged me to name him after you. And you've been there through my pregnancy, and you've been there after he was born. I mean, you cut his cord. So if you want to keep lying in front of this judge...
Wait. What does she mean by it is going to cause problems for him outside the courtroom? Does she want to jump him? That would be crazy, but this is paternity court. We are used to crazy. How did this duo even meet?
Went on a dating app, okay? I went on a dating app because I was looking for a one-night stand because that's all it was supposed to be. So, you know, I was on the dating app and I saw Mike and I swiped right on him and apparently he had swiped right on me as well. So, you know, I like my man, I like him with a dash of ugly and stuff. And it's like, he fit the description because he had a beautiful smile, but he had a little dash of ugly. Dash, he's still a very handsome man and he has a very beautiful smile, but he still has a dash of ugly.
A dash of ugly? What? Okay, that is definitely a first. She is basically saying she likes men that are a little bit ugly? Why would she say something so crazy? What exactly is going on here? And it gets worse.
So how soon after you swiped did you meet him?
The same night. It was the same night.
Yeah.
It was the same night. Like
We
I
did
paid
what
for
we
his
did
cab.
that night, yep.
I sure did. I paid for his cab to
Yeah, I
come over
think
my
you sure
house
did.
because it was gonna go on my terms. Like I paid for it so he can come, and it was the very same night. Like I said, it was only supposed to be a one-night stand.
If she gonna do it for me,
But wait, now Miss Valentin, you wasn't paying for no taxi for no man you saw on a dating website.
Yeah, I think we can all see that you were not really thinking. That is why you are both in paternity court. So they had protected contact that night. But what of other nights? Let's find out.
We had sex a lot more. We started hanging out some. He came over one night and he was eating my. Then we did have unprotected sex that same night.
All right, she lying. She lying for a fact. That is not true, Your Honor. You really gonna lie like that?
Oh, you want to say that
You
I'm
really
lying?
gonna lie like that?
You want to say that I'm lying?
Never had that
Just
ever
let it
happen.
go. Just
That
let it go.
has never
'cause it
ever
did
happened
happen.
in your life.
It did
You
happen on
wish you
several
did.
occasions.
That's what happened. You wish you did.
It happened on several
Yes, you wish
occasions.
it happened.
It happened on several occasions.
No, never happened.
Mr. Jordan here is more outraged by the fact that Ms. Valentin insists that he gave her a blowjob than by the fact that she claims her son belongs to him. That is a strange list of priorities. But hey, that is what you get on paternity court. Now what next?
I came home one night and she had somebody living with her. I ain't never met
Oh,
the man
you're
one day in my
lying.
life.
No, you're lying.
Wait,
you're
you
lying.
said
You
you
didn't
came
come home one night
Yes, I
because
came
you never
home one
lived
night.
with
She
me.
didn't even know I was coming. I just knocked
You're
on
a
the door.
lie. Because every
I
time you
knocked-
came over,
I
you
knocked
called
three
my
times.
phone.
Hey,
No.
let me
Because
talk.
you're sitting here lying.
I'll let you talk. Let me talk.
Okay, so you came to her house
Right. ma'am.
one
My
day
house.
unannounced.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what happened?
Well, I'm knocking on the door. Nobody coming. The light's off upstairs. Next thing I see a light come on.
Well, the answer to that is simple, Mr. Jordan. The man just wanted to watch Stephen A. Smith do his thing. Whom amongst us wouldn't mess up sheets while watching ESPN at the home of someone we are babysitting for? Come on, dude. This happens all the time, right? Well, Mr. Jordan ain't buying that. So what happened after that?
Anyway, after that happened, we had unprotected sex that same night, and I did not talk to her no more for 2 weeks because of that.
Wait. You got into the sheets you thought another man had just got out of?
It was on the counter. It was on the counter, Your Honor.
Why did I ask?
It was on the counter.
Why did I ask?
After that, I would not talk to her. Then she came to me with a paper, and she said, come here, I gotta show you something. She showed me the pregnancy test. She showed me a couple of them.
This is so chaotic, but Mr. Jordan is weaving some really crazy tales here. So he wants us to believe that he did not talk to her anymore because she had a man over, but still slept with her that day? Really? That is what we should believe? Let us see what Ms. Valentin had to say about this mystery man who came over.
And was there. I had a 3-bedroom townhouse at the time, so I had only one TV. So if him and my son wanted to watch TV, they were gonna have to watch my TV because there was no other one.
My witness told me
and
he's seen multiple men coming out.
Hold on. This select witness that he bring with him today, I didn't meet till I was already.
Men coming in and out of her house. Multiple occasions.
Your Honor.
On multiple occasions, Your Honor.
Wow, she is really loud. So Ms. Valentin saved a man's number as Pizza King and he kept texting her? Am I tripping right now, or did this woman think she'd get away with saving her side dude's number with a fake fast food chain? And yeah, it gets even worse.
Who is Pizza King?
Some boy I ignore, because he blows my phone up.
She tried to cover up. Absolutely.
What did you see her
never
texting to Pizza King?
They was talking about linking up, meeting up at the house, that she supposedly don't bring men over.
So what did you read?
You were the only man that was there.
What did you read?
It was like baby, like just emojis and stuff like that. Like,
you are such a liar. You are such a liar. You've been lying this whole time we've been here, so why not keep lying?
This is crazy. These two are just screaming over each other for no reason. Ms. Valentin insists that Mr. Jordan is a liar and is only doing this to hurt her. Well, if she is correct, then the child has to be Mr. Jordan's. Well, let us find out what the DNA test says.
3-month-old Michael Jordan. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jordan, you are the father.